Hello, Broncos fans. Our beloved team will be taking the field soon, and I confess that I am biting my nails for this matchup. I believe that we will win this victory in Week 2, if you believe so too. Hit that like button hard if you are a passionate Denver Broncos fan. I will talk more about this in a moment, but first, we need to address an important point about our player. There have been many actions behind the scenes to put our Denver Broncos in a better financial position, and today, we're talking about a big one involving one of our favorite wide receivers, Courtland Sutton. Now, if you haven't heard, Sutton's contract was restructured in a very smart move by the front office to help the team stay under the salary cap. Let me explain. Sutton was supposed to make $13 million this season, but the Broncos converted $11.875 million of that salary into a signing bonus. So, what does this mean? That means Denver instantly created $9.5 million in salary cap space for the 2024 season, giving them more flexibility to maneuver and strengthen the roster as the season progresses. But that's not the whole story. Sutton still has 2 years left on his contract, in 2024 and 2025. And here's where things get interesting. The team added 3 void years to the end of his deal. Basically, that's an accounting move that spreads out the cap hit over more years, even though Sutton won't actually be playing under those extra years.
So, while Sutton's cap hit for this year goes down, the Broncos are pushing part of that hit to future seasons, specifically to 2026. When that year comes around, the team will take on a cap hit of $7.125 million whether or not Sutton is still with the Broncos. Now, don't worry about the added void years in 2027 and 2028. They won't have any impact on the team's salary cap. It's a technicality in how contracts work in the NFL. Sutton's getting his money regardless, and Denver gets the cap relief they need right now. The only downside is that in a couple of years, the Broncos might have to deal with that 2026 hit if they decide to move on from Sutton, but for now, this was a smart, strategic play by the front office. But it doesn't end there. In another smaller, yet significant move, fullback Michael Burton, who's been promoted to the 53-man roster, received a 1-year contract worth $1.21 million. Burton's a veteran, and thanks to the NFL's veteran salary benefit rule, his cap hit for the Broncos this season will be $930,278. That's another cap-friendly move that helps the team keep some flexibility. After all these moves, the Broncos currently have about $6.85 million in cap space remaining, which could come in handy later in the season. Whether it's for emergency signings or future trades, that space gives us some breathing room as we head into a highly anticipated season. So, Broncos fans, what do you think? Is this the right move by the front office to give us some cap space heading into the new season? Do you see Sutton sticking with the team through 2026, or do you think this restructuring is just delaying the inevitable? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Here we are gearing up for Week 2 of the 2024 NFL season, and this Sunday, it's going to be a showdown as we host the Pittsburgh Steelers at home. Now, I know you're all buzzing with excitement, especially after last week's game, and you're probably wondering what's new with the team, so let's dive into what you can expect for this Sunday. First things first, no major changes to the Broncos lineup heading into Week 2. That means the core of our squad remains intact, ready to battle. However, there's one adjustment you might want to keep your eye on. Running back Audric Estime, who is giving us solid depth at that position, has unfortunately been placed on injured reserve. Tough break, I know. Estime had the potential to be a key piece in our offense, but due to injury, he's sidelined for the time being. That leaves a bit of a gap in our backfield, but don't worry, we've got a plan. So, what's the move? Enter fullback Michael Burton. Burton's been promoted from the practice squad to the active roster, which is great to see. However, let me be clear, this doesn't exactly shake up our depth chart because, even while on the practice squad, Burton was already listed as the team's starting fullback. So it's more of a technical move, ensuring we've got that position locked down going into Sunday. Now, here's where things get interesting. With Estime out, this means Blake Watson steps up as RB3. Watson's been showing a lot of promise in practice, and though he's not a household name just yet, this could be his chance to make a name for himself. Keep an eye on him during the game. He's the type of player who can surprise you when given the opportunity. With Javonte Williams leading the pack and Samaje Perine holding down the RB2 spot, Watson adds depth that could give our offense more versatility. The coaching staff believes in him, and if there's a week for him to break out, it might just be this one. Let's talk about what this means for the overall strategy. The Steelers are a tough team, no doubt about it. They've got a strong defensive front that loves to pressure the quarterback and clog up the running lanes. This is where having a guy like Burton in at fullback is crucial. He's not only a blocker but also someone who can help create opportunities for our backs to get to the second level. Our offensive line will need all the support it can get, and having a player like Burton who understands his role and plays with discipline can make a real difference in the trenches. The question now becomes, will Watson see significant snaps, or will the bulk of the workload continue to go to Williams and Perine? From what we've seen in practice, Watson has the capability to step in if needed, but the game plan is likely to lean on our top two backs for most of the game. However, don't be surprised if Coach Sean Payton gives Watson a few touches to test the waters, especially if we need fresh legs in the second half. For those wondering about our passing game, don't expect too many changes there either. Russell Wilson will still be leading the charge, looking to build on his connection with Jerry Jeudy and Courtland Sutton. If we can keep the Steelers' pass rush at bay, expect some deep shots down the field, but don't be surprised if we see more short passes and screens, especially if the run game struggles early on. At the end of the day, this matchup against the Steelers is going to come down to execution. We've got the talent, and even with the shift at running back, our depth chart is still looking solid. It's all about getting the most out of every player on the field and capitalizing on the opportunities that come our way. So, Broncos country, get ready for a hard-fought game on Sunday. We're going to need all the energy you can bring, whether you're at the stadium or cheering from home. All right, now that we've broken down the lineup changes and what to expect, I want to hear from you. What do you think of Audric Estime going on IR? How do you feel about Blake Watson stepping up as RB3? And are you excited to see Michael Burton get some action in the fullback role? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. The Denver Broncos are set to play 8 home games at Empower Field at Mile High this year, while hitting the road for 9 away games. With the NFL's uneven 17-game schedule, the NFC and AFC alternate each year for which conference gets an extra home game. This year, it's the NFC's turn to host the additional game, leaving AFC teams, including the Broncos, with only 8 home matchups. One of the most anticipated games in the Broncos' schedule is their Week 7 Thursday Night Football showdown against the New Orleans Saints, a team once coached by Broncos' current head coach, Sean Payton. This matchup adds an extra layer of intrigue as Payton returns to face his former team on their turf. Here are the Broncos' next 3 games. Week 3, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Week 4, New York Jets. Week 5, Las Vegas Raiders. With a challenging schedule ahead, Broncos fans will be eagerly awaiting these matchups as the team looks to make a strong push this season. And let me know how you think we're going to fare against the Steelers this week. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more updates throughout the season. Let's go Broncos!